And here we are again for another Patreon upload. This one is on Transformers 3: Dark of the Moon. I have shown absolute disdain for almost all of the Transformers movies. There's only a handful I like. The original 1980s movie is good. I like Transformers, Bumblebee. I like Bumblebee. And I liked the most recent one, Transformers 1, which is very confusing because when you think Transformers 1, you think of the 2007 movie. I'm talking about the animated prequel. That one was good. The rest, nope, don't like them. And this third one is, oh my god, oh so bad. This was supposed to be Seth's last episode. We were at the time gearing up to go off to shoot a film, and things were kind of shifting in terms of who was going to be in charge. We were going to try to do a community-based thing, and things were changing. We ended up shooting part of the movie. We never did finish it, just for various reasons. Things just didn't work out. It fell through. But yeah, this was supposed to be the closing chapter on a part of Film Rescue. We were going to kind of let the show go, and we ended up coming back anyways. We ended up going up to 10 seasons, so we ended up still going and continuing the show. So yeah, this is probably one of the most painful watches I've ever had. I think I started to stop this thing, I want to say like 4 times. It was so miserable to sit through this. Me and Hope were watching this together, and she was having a meltdown. It's long, it's boring, it's ugly, it's offensive, it's cruel. Yeah, this movie sucks in every way. God, I don't know how Michael Bay keeps getting work, especially after the Me Too movement, in terms of how it is that he got Megan Fox to be cast in the movie, which is that he had her come over to wash his car and he videotaped it. I'm not sure how he's scathed by the Me Too movement unscathed. It's a mystery we'll probably never have an answer to. But yeah, I'm very thankful that the Michael Bay era of Transformers is now finally going away. We can move on to other, better things. I don't hate the Transformers. I think there's some fun stuff. Some of the comic books are pretty good. But yeah, there's a lot of crap in this franchise. And this is one of them. So here it is. Our Patreon extended cut of the Film Rescue for Transformers 3: Dark of the Moon. Enjoy.
Welcome to a new episode of the Film Rescue Show. We're lending a helping hand to Hollywood in fixing their feature films. I am joined today by our fearless hosts. Hope is here.
I want to die.
And I'm going to plug straight on through into Jesse's here.
This movie.
I'm going to try to keep the momentum going into our guest of the day. Nick Wolf is here.
Hi, everybody.
This is the one, I guess. This is
Your last
the reason.
episode as a lead host for this show, Seth, going out on a good one.
The reason for me doing this show at all was, I guess, to be tortured with the movies at a certain point, and for that reason, I can be saying that I'm glad to go out on this one, I guess, and for that reason only.
How many times did you have to sit down to rewatch this? How many times? How many sittings did it take?
So I have done 5 total sittings, 4 of them for my first watch, and then the 5th one was one straight through.
Now, Seth, I did send you a shortened version, or did you decide to not take the easy way out and saw all 2.5 hours of it?
So for my second watch, I did watch the shortened version. The second watch was also a 100 milligrams on edibles watch.
I'll
get to that.
Improve the experience.
I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later.
Jesse and I watched it together, and I entertained Jesse with my faces, and I drank the entire time, just
Can't
like
say I
I'm
blame
doing
you.
right now, just like I'm doing right now. Oh gosh, yeah. The whole time I'm like, Jesse, why? And he's like,
Yeah, this is rough. This is the exactly the reason not to do this show, if I'm being honest.
If you hate somebody, make them watch this movie.
Well, early in the conversations around Film Rescue, before we even started the show, we wanted it to be a show where like it was against the law to talk about anything bad in a movie. And just to like compliment, we were just going to compliment the things that we thought the movie did well, and then we were going to give our own pitch and just let people assume what it is that did and didn't work for us. And the reason for wanting to do that was for the quality filter, because, like, again, all of these Transformers movies are exactly the same movie, just reskinned into different locations. But, like, otherwise...
To the point where Red Letter Media did an episode where they played the first three side by side and they matched up perfectly.
Yeah, like they
just changed words.
They're templates, and so I could have done one Transformers movie and just covered them all. That was the original idea there, but because I am a glutton for punishment, and I do genuinely enjoy watching really good movies, so I can tell you why that they're what they may have messed up on, especially at this level, this like Michael Bay level. This is my introduction rant to when I say something mean on this one, I don't mean it towards the poor peons that had to process these graphics together and hit the start button on those giant, massive computers that compile this information. None of this is directed at you. This is directed at Michael Bay, the man himself.
Yeah, they were doing what they were told.
I know that people will be directed to this episode, especially as it being my final episode as the main host. And so if there's anybody new here that hasn't listened back to the other 153 episodes I'm on, I don't do this in a mean spirit normally. And if it seems mean today, this is why, and this is why I think it's okay.
I was about to say, you're usually the one trying to uplift me and Jesse because we're bashing it. And you're like, come on, guys, let's kumbaya. And no.
There are some films out there that exist specifically to bilk money out of an audience. They are not there. They're the slightest shred of art has been pulled from the medium. These films are that. These are not art. What is the opposite of art? This is what it is. This is the opposite of art.
I make better art in the toilet.
If you enjoy Transformers as a franchise, fine. It's not for me, but I see why there's an appeal. But when it comes to, like, the only Transformers movie I actually enjoyed was Bumblebee, the prequel.
Yeah.
Because Michael Bay had nothing to do with it.
And John Cena was in it. We just got done talking about him.
Yeah, we just got done talking about John Cena and Peacemaker. Like, John Cena makes everything better. But when it comes to the quality, it just all leads back to Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Just this man. Why has he not been canceled yet? Has anybody? Wasn't the way in which he cast Megan Fox in the first two Transformers films was that he had her wash his car and he videotaped it? Why is it nobody ever talk about that?
I was about to say, can we also talk about the lawsuit that was against the production and Michael Bay?
Yes.
Because he gave a girl who was an extra on set permanent brain damage from being in an accident because he wanted to rush production and not go through all the safety hazards with the rigging. So she is now permanently brain damaged. She thankfully won the lawsuit, but
$14 million lawsuit levied against the production company, and she won.
Yep. Because he just wanted to rush production.
Yeah. Michael Bay has said multiple times, I hate waiting. Well, you're on a film set with special effects all over the place, explosions, vehicles, it's dangerous. You are meant to take your time. It's a big production. It's a big moving machine. Big thing.
It's not like you're just recording two people sitting down talking. It's not a my conversation with Andre, my dinner with Andre. It's
And it's not like they're not going to make the money back in the back end that they would potentially spend to wait and keep things safe.
Yeah, this movie cost $200 million. It made $1.124 billion. Like, you made your profit.
If he was like, Robert Rodriguezing this, like, you know, indie film, guerrilla style in the streets. Nobody would allow him to make a Transformers movie. Yeah, I get having that mindset, but like it's $200 million. Yeah, exactly.
When you're doing things quickly and unsafely, people get hurt, people get killed. You know, you fuck up the production schedule. Like, this is what happens. Like, you end up with this. Like, same things can be levied against. The same issue can be levied against Paul W.S. Anderson with the last Resident Evil film that he did.
Yeah.
So, like, wasn't like one of the stunt actors lost an arm? Something like that.
Yep.
Like, when you rush, people get hurt or killed.
I was about to say, not to mention the whole fiasco. You're in DC. I know, so personally, I used to do crime scene cleanup in DC. You are not allowed with a type of car above a certain amount of weight and height within 7 miles of the White House. It is illegal. It is impossible unless you get permits 3 months in advance. And
are you talking about the car crash?
Yeah. So I know personally about that, and the fact that you rushed production, didn't let anybody, didn't get the permits, didn't get alert the police, and there was a car crash with the K9 unit car with innocent puppies in the car.
It was the K9 unit for the bomb squad. There was a bomb threat
No.
at HUD building. Yeah, bomb squad is on a different radio frequency from regular DC police. So they didn't know they were filming across that street, and they slammed right into the Bumblebee lead car.
Oh no.
Yeah, I actually was asked to work on this film because they needed people. And I said, I can't. I was still working at the shop I was used to work at, and I was unavailable to work. I'm very thankful because I heard it was a massive clusterfuck because Michael Bay is a huge dick, and I have a story about that later on. But yeah, I was there when that car crash happened, and I saw it happening live on YouTube. And they just covered it up with a tarp and just moved it out of the way, and then just brought in another one and kept going.
Wow.
Didn't even care. That's the thing that pisses me off. Just like, no one gave a shit if anybody was hurt. It was just, hey, let's just keep moving because we have to make our day. Like, somebody could have been killed. If that happened on any other film set, you stop production immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
You immediately stop production. But because it's Michael Bay and he's in charge, he said, keep filming.
And that's what kills me too, because like I said, I work with government contractors, and if I've done an iota's amount, and that was literally just driving one street too far, and we got fined, harassed, all that. But they can go, and I was doing an actual service, you know. Yeah. But they can go and wreck the K9 units, and everything's hunky dory. What the actual damn hell? Like.
Yeah. And for anybody wondering, we will eventually start talking about the movie, but first we need to talk about the bullshit surrounding this movie because it's more interesting than the film itself.
It's so funny, in a movie so bloated, there's so much bloat that it's exceeded the movie and spilled out into the intro.
Like, I've watched this movie now. What's the plot? I don't know. What do the characters do? No clue. I don't know. It's this movie is equivalent to nothing but noise to me.
Yeah.
Don't even ask me to pull out positives because I don't have any. Maybe Rosie Huntington is really pretty, and Jason Statham nailed himself a really great wife. That's about all I can say is positive. That's Jason Statham's wife.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. Good job.
The only good thing that came out of this movie is I have definitely given more business to my local liquor store.
I will also say that it is positive that this is the film that encouraged Shia LaBeouf to get away from these kinds of films.
Yeah.
And clean his shit up. So, you know,
for whatever length of time that was good for.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of teeter-totters. He's up, he's down, he's up, he's down. He's definitely got some problems. But these movies did not do his career any favors beyond putting him in the limelight, but in the wrong way.
Yeah.
It didn't do his mental any favors. He got real bad after these films.
Yeah.
He got real bad.
Yeah. Lots of drinking, lots of drugs, going out every night, getting in fights. Yeah, these films are not good if you're an actor. These are not actors. This is not the kind of thing you strive to be in as an actor.
No,
nobody strives to be in a Transformers film.
I think it's
and
one of those
things.
things.
And that brings me to my. Oh, I'm sorry, Seth, but that brings me to my thing. There were so many good actors in this. It kills me.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Oh,
Yeah.
I pointed this out. Why is like half the Coen Brothers cast in this fucking film?
Exactly.
Why?
Oh god! Maybe he just likes the Coen Brothers.
Borrowing legitimacy, I think, is a big part of it.
Yeah, lending some credibility to your film, but then wasting these actors and giving them nothing to work with. Like, it's embarrassing to them. It's embarrassing to people like Malkovich and Frances McDormand and John Turturro. Like these actors are useless in these movies. They could swap them out with anyone, and I wouldn't notice. Also, do you want me to tell my story about Michael Bay?
Yes.
Sure.
So I wasn't on the set of Transformers 3, but I know people that were. And if I'm going to savage this movie, I'm saying this like this. You all did a great job. However,
because they were following orders.
Because they were being told what to do. So there was the person that this happened to. This didn't happen to me directly, but I know the person that this happened to. This person will remain nameless for the sake of their career. So there was somebody I worked with, and I still am friends with him. I still work with him. So he heard a call for dolly track to go to set, like 10 sticks of dolly track. And it was like, okay. So he loads all these 10 sticks onto a hamper and moves them to the set himself. And he goes up to the set, and he just is trying to find the gaffer, can't find him. Trying to find his key grip, can't find him. And so he just kind of calls out on the radio. It's like, so I heard a call for dolly track. Who's coming to pick this up? Michael Bay runs up to him and screams in his face, "Get that fucking shit out of here. I didn't call for that." And so he just very calmly loads it back on the hamper, takes it back to the truck, loads it back on the truck, and just stayed on the truck the rest of the day. And then he put online, I think on his Facebook, he said, "I just got yelled at by Michael Bay today. My career is complete." Michael Bay is a massive asshole. Okay, the things that Megan Fox said about him, that he's like Hitler on set, she wasn't lying. He is.
Wow.
He's a scumbag. He's a dick. He's a douchebag. He is every frat boy you've ever seen in any college jock movie ever made.
Damn.
He is that guy. And he just never grew out of that. And so when Spielberg got Megan Fox fired for saying that shit, I'm pretty sure it's because he didn't want anybody to negatively think of Michael Bay, because that would affect the box office. This is around the time that Spielberg started to sell out.
Yeah.
Like Spielberg started to sell out and was just protecting Michael Bay because he knew these were massive cash piles waiting for them, no matter the quality of the movie. So, yeah.
Damn. Well,
I wish I had more positive things to say, but I don't have anything else to say that's positive.
Let's leave that as the cap for this episode then on why we're going to go so ham on this. And we'll segue over into Nick. Nick, I don't recall, have we talked Transformers before on an episode?
You and I? No, we have not.
Okay. So let's get some background on you and your experience with the Transformers saga.
Okay, this is gonna be embarrassing. All right, so I guess it all starts back in the '90s when Beast Wars was coming out, because I was a huge Beast Wars mark.
Hell yeah!
That was my
Beast Wars.
They just announced that, actually. They just announced the poster for Beast Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Optimus
see how that
Primal.
goes.
I don't care.
But yeah, that my journey basically began and ended with Beast Wars in the 90s. I got most of the toys, so I was happy. And then I heard about these movies coming out, and of course, I had nothing better to do. And this is kind of like that thing I liked when I was younger. And and I think with Transformers 3, it was I think when we got to the point where Act 3 started, like at the 90-minute mark, and then the movie just kept going for an extra hour, I felt like Max von Sydow in the Seventh Seal. I was just waiting for my chess game with death to end me and for me to be valleyed off.
Oh gosh!
Just be valleyed off and end my suffering.
Oh, why are these movies so fucking long?
Oh, I figured it out on this one. I know
Please
exactly
explain.
the issue. They do the same sequence 3 times in a row, back to back to back. Let me explain what I mean by this. So the first half of the movie, I'm going to qualify as everything from the opening credits all the way up to the takeover of Chicago.
Okay.
The takeover of Chicago is that 90-minute mark approximately that Nick's talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
And from
that's when I lost my sanity and Jesse laughed at me. Yes.
Oh my god.
From there
I have
to the
screen caps. I'm putting them in the chat.
Yes.
From there to the end of the movie tries to end 3 times, and it has to keep repeating itself in some kind of Sisyphean attempt to roll the end of the movie out to the finish line. Because here's what happens. Chicago gets taken over. We have our all is lost moment. They start to rally the troops back together. Everybody gets back together outside of Chicago. We have the glorious, the Autobots are rolling up moment. You know, glorious, the reinforcements are here. That's what they're going for. Then they go into Chicago, at which point they get separated and have to meet back up, where they have the glorious scene where the Autobots roll back up to save the day, and everybody has reconverged on the same point. And now they need to go further into Chicago, where they get split up, and then the Autobots have to roll in and save the day. And I'm not kidding. This happens 3 times to finish the end of the movie.
Yeah, and then it abruptly ends, and you're like, what the fuck?
And tell me what the skyscraper drill sequence adds to any part of the movie. Like, literally,
no one should have been alive by the end of the movie.
Here's a question: what do the Autobots actually add to the movie?
Nothing.
They just kind of roll in every now and again.
Roll out.
Nick, you said you wanted to mention something about the Autobots' genius plan of ejecting out of a rocket.
Yeah. So for those who haven't watched the movie, as part of the all is lost moment, basically the United States government gets convinced by the Decepticons to kick the Autobots off world, and as they're in the rocket, the Decepticons blow the rocket up. But it turns out the Autobots were stowed away in a safety compartment the whole time, and that they had just let things happen because they had to convince the Decepticons they were gone. Now, how do I do share screen? Okay. All right, I'm gonna... Okay, go live. All right, I'm gonna...
Okay, I'm
gonna play this at 3, 2, 1... play.
So you let untold thousands of people be slaughtered so the bad guys would briefly think you were gone? Great ruse. So what, now we use the matrix of leadership to bring back all the children, soldiers, and beloved relatives we've lost? What? No? No, that's only good for robots? Huh. Oh. You know, on second thought, you and your ruse.
Yep. My thoughts exactly. Thanks, Michael J. Nelson.
Yeah, so Optimus Prime's just a fucking war criminal.
Oh my god!
At this point in the series,
is it shocking at all that the Autobots are being hunted down in the 4th one that they somehow got made?
Jesus Christ, dude! Why do the Transformers have blood now? Like, what the fuck, dude?
Oh gosh,
he rips a guy's head off and then tears his spine out.
That's my favorite. My favorite part of the first roll, the Autobots are rolling up to save the day scene. So they're getting chased down by the pilot Decepticon that was in the ship, right? Mm-hmm. And then 3 good Autobots dismember that thing with no remorse, and it's like, these are the good guys, and this is they're showing up to save the day moment. And I was like, this looks like rabid dogs attacking a deer in the wild. This is violent and ugly.
Jesse, should I tell them the nickname I gave the traitor Autobot?
Yeah, go for it.
I called him Bugake face the whole day. Because his, like, quote-unquote, like, beard looked like a pile of bukkake on his face the whole time.
Sentinel Prime, played by the late Leonard Nimoy. This is one of his last roles before he passed away. And he actually uses the phrase, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And immediately I was like, fuck you, movie.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
He deserves Bukkake face.
That's just one of many Star Trek references in this movie. The
Right.
other ones are better than that.
Because the movie has nothing else to rely on. Like, that's
No.
probably why there's so many lead actors in this film, because there's nothing else in the film. That, like, when Buzz Aldrin showed up in this movie, I wanted to
I
throw
died.
my fucking beer across the room. I was like,
Jesse
fuck
and I,
you.
my roommate was sitting next to us, and Jesse and I went up in arms, and my roommate is next to me dying laughing because Jesse and I are about to like riot this shit. And we're just going. I was like, fuck! You
Shit
destroyed
like-
a national treasure!
God, including shit like the Apollo mission and how it was all just a bunch of bullshit to get to a ship on the dark side of the moon, which, by the way, they don't actually go to the dark side of the moon because you can see it. There's light everywhere. Also, like, they go to the Chernobyl disaster area in Ukraine.
Topical.
Very
Chernobyl!
topical.
What the fuck? I got so pissed off. Dude, Ugh. Especially after you watch the miniseries of Chernobyl on HBO.
Oh, God.
Like,
Best horror movie
fuck!
ever made. All hail the ghost of Kiev. Keep fighting the good fight.
All right, but which movie used Chernobyl better, this movie or Die Hard 5?
Ha, good question.
Oh, man. Or Godzilla 98. There you go.
Right.
Oy.
So I do have some like half compliments to lob at the movie ungracefully.
Compliments? What does that even mean?
What?
Okay, so
Is it like backhanded compliments? Like,
yeah.
The glasses really look good on your face, so it hides the engulfed eyeball sockets you have.
yeah, it's exactly stuff like that. Okay, so the first hour and a half of this movie goes out of its way to set up a character arc for Sam Witwicky, which I was like pleasantly surprised because his arc is he's saved the world twice already and nobody takes him seriously. It trickles into problems in his relationships with his parents, and he misses his best friend is a big part of it, right? So,
His girlfriend dumped him, but that's okay. He found another.
Yeah,
But
he found out.
this one makes him a kept man, and then she's like, I'll take care of you. Why haven't you gotten money? Oh, but let me take care. Like, that was just confusing.
Yeah. Her character is not helpful to the film in any capacity that I'm willing to defend.
Well, Megan Fox's character wasn't helpful in any capacity in those previous movies either. So.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe a little bit in the first one.
Yeah,
but
she's
not so much in
definitely
the second
superfluous in the second one, but also everyone is superfluous in the second one, as we
Yeah.
discovered.
Also, I remember I actually re-listened to the Transformers 2 episode. I actually have an answer as to why that film is such a complete goddamn disaster.
Oh, why?
Writer's strike.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
Scripts. They filmed what they could, which is like 20 pages. Writers went on strike, and then after the strike ended, the writers came back, wrote new pages, shot that stuff, and tried to cobble together the stuff from the scripted and unscripted stuff into a massive air quotes coherent film. So what you're seeing is a hodgepodge of stuff that was scripted and unscripted. That's why it all feels like filler.
That totally makes sense because it feels like a scriptless film. Like,
It
truly.
basically was. They just made it up.
This one does too, but for different reasons.
I think they realized, like, oh, people are just going to go pay to see this shit anyways, even if there's no script. Let's just copy the same script. That's why this film feels like the same shit. You know? Linkin Park got screwed out of doing new music for this movie, and they were like, it's not going to be like Transformers 2, we promise. And then they saw the film, and they're like, yeah, we're not doing the fourth one.
Right.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Chester Bennington.
Oh, that man.
I like
Love
that song. I like that one song they did, but I just don't think that they were used appropriately for this movie.
No.
Yeah.
They are too good for that.
Yeah.
So anyways, my half compliment, the setup of a promise of a character arc for Shia LaBeouf. I was pleased to see that's where we got, but then it kind of just stops and the movie spins its tires 3 times, like we pointed out, and never resolves that plot point and that arc in any like useful way that I could measure.
Because there's no way to use him appropriately. Like, there's no use for that character.
Right.
That's the problem. It's like, these movies are military porn. That's it. That's what there's For those that don't realize, for films like this, where you have military showing up all the time, like, whether it be aircraft or soldiers, weapons, you can equate Man of Steel to this as well. You get military funding when you wave the flag and praise the president. You get that. Yeah. You get military funding. That's why the budget on this is like almost $200 million. A lot of that is military funding from the Pentagon. Because it's basically an advertisement. Isn't the military so fucking cool? Look at all the cool shit we get.
It's low-grade propaganda.
It's low-grade propaganda. Michael Bay does this all the time. Look at Transformers 4. There's flags everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere. The CIA are the bad guys, but the military is the good guys.
Well, and he also got the perfect representation of, like, patriotic America in Mark Wahlberg and all of his toxic warts to play that character.
Yeah.
Like he is perfectly cast in these kind of movies because that is exactly his like approachable semi-toxic patriotic vibe, that I used to be part of racism but not anymore, right? Like it's that kind of shit that it goes hand in hand with these movies. These movies are like exceptionally tonally tone deaf towards any culture outside of the United States.
Oh, they're extraordinarily racist, xenophobic, misogynistic, even homophobic at times. Like, these films are absolute garbage. There is almost nothing redeeming in these movies.
And, I'm trying to figure out where they land politically because Bill O'Reilly has a cameo in this where he's not made to look dumb, first of all, which feels like an editing mistake more than anything.
Oh, God.
But, where they make a Republican joke at a certain point, too.
Yeah.
Like, where are they... Who
I
are
think
they
Michael
making?
Bay's just too dumb to choose a side.
I think he thinks he's smart for being centrist.
I think he all thought it was the same shit. I think he thinks it was all the same shit, quite honestly.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, it's just slap America on it. It's fine."
Yeah.
The visuals have never looked better.
Seriously?
What visuals? I couldn't even tell what the visuals were because it looked like vomit.
I think that was the edibles kicking in, dude.
No, I think
you went to your happy place and that's what happened.
The CGI in these movies is exceptionally good looking. Like
the one CGI bit I remember was when Bumblebee is in his car mode jumping in the air, then he transforms into robot mode while he's basically juggling Shia LaBeouf trying to take care of these other icons.
Yeah.
And then he transforms back around him. And Shia LaBeouf, he acts like a regular person, just screaming. He's like, "What was that just now?"
The scene where Shia LaBeouf shoots the fucking thing at Starscream's eye and he's swinging around. I'm like, this man should have died 30 times already.
Oh, that's when I was screaming because if anybody's ever listened to podcasts before, they know I have a medical background, and I'm like, that's a hematoma, that's a fracture, that's whiplash, that's this. I was like, they're dead 10 times over. I was so furious. I was so goddamn furious.
I don't know if there's a term for this, but I have an abject fear of touching a Transformer for fear of losing a fucking hand or finger in there. Just the moving machine parts make them very unattractive to look at as far as functionally touching them. So when they're climbing all around on the backs of these things, I'm like, oh God, you can't do that. You will lose a finger. They're going to slice something off.
Yeah, like Shia LaBeouf did.
Yeah, Rich Evans points this out in the episode where they watched all three of the first movies back side by side. They said, if you're trying to make yourself endearing to the Transformers, the design of them is terrible. They all look like a junkyard explosion.
Yeah, it's
not, the mechanics. Yes, they that's how it would functionally work. Here's the thing, though. They don't look good, though.
Yeah, it's ugly by design, but it's rendered really lifelike into the films. They do physically look like they exist in the space. And interact with the their lighting alone the way that they light in these like fake environments, that makes it very naturalistic. That has always kind of blown me away about the series, and I think that's truly the driving force behind them making so much money. Is like it's an absolute vomitous fireworks show of a mess, but it is really lifelike, and that tickles that, you know, kind of part of the imagination that your average moviegoer who doesn't really care about a plot is going to go in and get the action that they paid for and leave happy. So it's kind of like, it's like shaking keys at a baby is like the best metaphor I can come up with it. Like, just it's very interesting for reasons we may not fully understand.
But here's the thing, though. Like, have you ever here seen Bumblebee, the prequel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, look at the design of the Transformers. They look good. Like, they're smaller. Thank God.
Yeah.
Like they're so fucking big. They're too big. They made them smaller. They made them more visually interesting to look at. They're sleeker. They're not like a jumble of wires and cables all over the place. They look like
No bukkake here.
humanoid. They look like real people. So it makes them more endearing, like more practical. And I actually quite like Bumblebee. It's not amazing. It's definitely got a lot of problems. You can't just fly from Saturn to Earth in like an hour.
They straight up like stole a Transformers idea pitch that I had a while back. So, like I have been pitching a Transformers movie about a boy and his dog, and like sub out the boy for a girl, I don't care, but like that style story, I've been saying that is the exact way to go forever. And then Bumblebee comes out, and it was like, yep, I was right. See, it works.
Yeah, yeah. And then of course they put it back into canon by making him turn into the Camaro at the very end of the movie. Like, I'm okay with Bumblebee until the last 30 seconds. Then it fucks itself in the ass. So
I do like their redesign on Optimus Prime in that
Oh,
movie.
God, yes. Classic Prime, yeah.
Yes.
Is
I
it
will
back
give
in
it
the
that.
canon? Because the Autobots show up on Earth at the end, where in the first movie they were just arriving in the
canon
middle.
in these movies is horse shit.
There
Okay,
is
none
no
of this
canon.
makes. They show the fucking Autobots fighting in World War II in the 5th movie. Who gives a shit? None of this
There
matters.
legit is no canon. It's just whatever the fuck they want to show at the time. And it's just like whatever matters. Like, it's so cringe. Like, it's not even worth discussing.
Yeah, like Bay doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit about this stuff. He just does.
He doesn't even know how to read, let alone read a history book. Shit.
He just gets a chance to just make a bunch of fucking explosions and just jerk off to this in the editing bay. That's all it is.
Oh my gosh. I was just watching South Park Imagination Land the other day, and I was like, Jesse, Michael Bay, and he's like, when we come in, it was like whoosh, and explosions go boosh. He's like, that's not a plan. That's special effects.
Those are visual effects. They're not ideas. I don't know the difference. Oh,
We know you don't.
Bring the next one.
I have a read on some of this stuff about the canon specifically, and it's kind of counter to the current read of Transformers. So Nick, I'm curious how this strikes you specifically. So
Okay.
So a lot of people want to present the Transformers as an immigrant story, and that's like, if you have to apply a deeper metaphor to it, that's the metaphor.
Okay.
If you do that, it gets real dicey at a certain point with, like, you know, the Decepticons versus the Autobots and like the political implications there. Like it becomes very heady and political very quickly. However, and this is my thought, is what if we read the Transformers as colonizers instead? Because they've been here for a long time. Like before, you know, our colonizing governments have been established. And if we read them that way, then like their invasion and coming to Earth, it makes it make sense why they don't understand their world. It's kind of like Columbus coming over and being like, yeah, I understand everything. I got a boat here. And it's like, dude, you don't understand shit. You're just colonizing someplace.
Seth, it's funny you mention that, because back in the 2010 run of the Transformers comics, apparently things got so bad in the State of the Universe that Optimus Prime decided, for Earth's safety, he was going to annex it under Cybertron's rule.
Oh, okay. So I'm not the only one with these ideas. Got it.
Yeah.
Good to know.
They say even in the first movie, it's like the humans should choose for themselves. Why do you care about humanity at all? Like, you could squash everyone here like a bug.
Yeah.
There's no reason that any of these people would care other than we live here and it's our planet.
Right.
And they actually have kindness, possibly, compared to,
It's just problems built into the lore of the Transformers, which is that trying to meld them with human society is always a problem.
Dude, this feels like Transformers is a cautionary tale to human beings of like, if we fuck our planet up too much, we can't just go take somebody else's planet just because we feel like it.
Yeah, you can't just do that. Especially when the people that you're trying to invade could easily just kill you.
Right.
Well, that's another thing. What do the humans expect to do against the Decepticons? Like, what's the plan here? Like, they try to show those like special forces squads taking down different Transformers, and I'm like, what? How do you plan to even get close to these things? They could just slap you aside and just wreck your entire body.
Right.
Like, there's the idea of why are there people in these films? Why not just make them robots? Like, what? Just make these animated movies with CGI characters. Just do that. They've done it before. I just don't understand why there's humans in this movie other than we got military funding. We got to put the military in the movie. Let's just do that.
Well, I mean, a big part of it is your character POV. We need, as the audience, we need something to relate it back to us to care about.
You ever see that movie WALL-E? It's a really good movie.
I love WALL-E.
Fuck you, Seth. WALL-E is a great thing. Okay, look, you don't need human beings. You just need human emotions. Human beings are not the most important thing. Human emotion is the most important thing. And there's none in these Transformers films.
But even WALL-E still has to lean on having a human populace there as like part of the stakes towards the end of it. Like the elements
they show up like halfway through the movie, so it's not that important.
Well, and that's only to establish WALL-E. I'm not saying you're like wrong either. I'm just saying like the version of this that gets people in their seats is the version that it feels like they're aiming for the feeling of like when you walk out of the movie theater, aliens could show up this summer and take you on this same adventure. That's what they're shooting for, versus like what you're presenting is using this IP to its fullest extent to tell the best stories. So like I'm agreeing you're saying the better thing here, but the $1 billion version is the one stacked with people, and I get that decision on Hollywood's end.
So basically, you're saying that the audience is dumb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool. That's who pays to see this shit.
Yeah, I've fucking paid for at least 4 of these in theaters before I was like, yeah, I guess I really don't need to do this if I don't feel like it, do I?
Yeah, I think that's what the audience basically said. Because after the 5th movie, they're like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Everybody finally wised up.
Nick, is salvageable things from this movie? Anything that stands out?
Are we finally in positives? 50 minutes in?
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of everything all mixed around at once.
There's so few positives.
I like the scene where Frances McDormand shows up, that her aide swaps out her heels for sensible shoes. So that's already like this movie knows more about comfortability for women than Jurassic World does.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And as far as any kind of faithfulness to the source material, as if you can call it that, Soundwave's the only guy who seems to accomplish his goals. Like, hey, Laserbeak, kill these guys. Okay, boss. Like, yeah, that's something. And also, he's voiced by he's reprised by Frank Welker, which all right.
Yeah.
Not that it means anything in these movies.
Yeah, they don't give them a lot of lines, do they?
I feel bad for the voice actors of the classic Transformers having to say this shit dialogue for these characters that they've become so famous for. They're like, this is like the weird, twisted nightmare perversions of their original characters. And I just feel so bad for like Frank Cullen and not Frank Welker and Peter Cullen. I just feel so bad for them. I'm glad they got paid, but at the same time, I just feel like you could have just said no.
Yeah. What else you got, Nick? I have one micro shout out. In 2 shots of the movie with 0 dialogue, Maylee Flanagan shows up. She's the voice of Naruto in the animes.
Yes, I did call that out. I told Jesse, I was like, that's Naruto! And Jesse's like, what the fuck you talking about? I was like, no, it's Naruto!
Yep, that's the voice of Naruto.
I did call that out. I did call that out.
Yeah, that's positive to me.
Positive.
Yes! Good for her getting work.
The bit where John Malkovich is telling people to get back to work after Ken Jeong seemingly commits suicide. That feels that feels weirdly plausible 10 years later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So accuracy.
I love that was supposed to be some kind of like parody or satire of that like working space, and it's like the joke is that it's just true. So I'm not sure why you're laughing here.
You laugh in order so that you don't cry.
Right.
Like on it, like in a vacuum, I like the scene where like Optimus is trying to give back his leadership badge, Matrix of Leadership, to Sentinel, but Sentinel's like, no, you keep it. You're a leader now. Like on its own, and knowing what I know about the movie, if there were writers on this movie, I'd be curious as to Sentinel Prime psychology there, but you know.
Oh, the writer on this was our good old buddy Aaron Kruger. This is the one he did solo after Roberto and Orsi had jumped ship.
You know, it's funny too. I would still watch another.
No, I'm sorry.
Orsi and Kurtzman.
Orsi and Kurtzman. That's
Kurtzman.
Kurtzman. You asshole.
The man knows how to write.
I'm out of alcohol.
The man knows how to write sequences. He does not know how to string them together into a coherent story.
Yep.
Jesse, the key is to grab several beer bottles at once and then go through it.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
We have a break coming up. It's all good.
Yeah. And like in a vacuum, there are things that I can enjoy. Actually, the skyscraper sequence would be.
Wait, you enjoyed it?
I would play the shit out of it in a video game. Like if that section were more interactive.
It's in the second Uncharted game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Uncharted in theaters now. Don't go see it.
I'm sorry, but that whole sequence where it's like the Transformers like sniffing them out in the skyscraper that's falling.
How does it sniff? It's a machine.
I was like, first off, why is it sniffing it out like Smaug? Second off, the damn skyscraper should have already been fallen over dead. They all should.
Oh yeah.
Like it was just.
Again, I said in a vacuum. In a vacuum. You can literally clip that entire sequence out of the movie and nothing changes because they don't even lose anybody. It's like the continuity is unchanged.
I lost my sanity.
Yeah. I have a question here.
Yeah.
This, because we got to get political, unfortunately. The ending of this movie takes place at Trump Tower. Funny. Does Trump Tower get destroyed or do they just avoid it?
I don't.
One can only hope.
I thought that was where McDreamy was holding Sam's girlfriend captured.
Oh yeah.
You're asking a lot out of the scene geography in this movie, Jesse, and I just don't think it's
looks
there.
The same.
Yeah.
Well, not even that. There was literally when they went to Chicago, I was like, they were literally just in DC. How the fuck? Literally 7 minutes later, not even like movie 7 minutes, but like in the movie time sequence. How did that, like, how does this happen? How does this happen?
It's like the show 24. It's like, yeah, you can totally fly from Washington to DC to LA in about an hour. It's fine. Totally makes sense. In a helicopter.
Jesse, can like in post, can you just be like the ding, doom, ding, doom, the noise from 24?
Might be triggering for some people. Yeah, I wish there was more to say about it. Like the first half, like most of these movies, the setup it can be hinting at ideas of fun things. I don't think they ever truly execute on them in any interesting way. Go ahead.
Clown face was nightmare fuel.
So as a stupid person who cares about Transformers, even when it's unfortunately bad,
No, Transformers as a whole is fantastic. Not this movie series, but like this cartoon and the comics.
so I gotta ask, what little plot there is in this movie suggests that, like, all this time, like, Megatron had a plan with Sentinel Prime to transport Cybertron to Earth's atmosphere or something. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
In the last movie, he was working with Tony Todd to blow up the sun. And they established...
Are you not kidding about that plot? Because I don't recall enough of that movie to say if you're lying.
No, Tony Todd played the Fallen, and they were going to blow up the sun for Energon. So, did Megatron plan on having Sentinel and him kill each other? Or is he just Adam Sandler's character from Uncut Gems? He's just trying to make deals wherever he can, not caring if it bites him in the ass, how it could.
I never lose because I'm always siding with everybody.
Maybe he got some brain damage when that chunk got taken out of his head.
I just what Megatron is supposed to be like the biggest of the bad, isn't he?
Yeah.
Why is he always someone's bitch?
He's a straight up little bitch in this one.
That's just the point where he gets literally called out on it. Like, literally, you're his bitch. That's the like quoted dialogue. I'm like, okay. I can imagine just kids in the audience just being like horribly confused by this.
Yes, because they're
Like, who is this movie made for? It's not made for Transformers fans. It's too fucking distant from source material. It's not for action movie fans because it's too fucking confusing. It's not for science fiction fans. It's too stupid. It's not for anybody just wants to go see a fun movie with their kids. It's too fucking dark and confusing.
Jesse,
Who is this made for?
I'm gonna give
It's
you the
for
answer.
Michael Bay.
It's for
Michael
people who, like
Bay.
me, who buy riff tracks.
Oh!
Dude, I couldn't even suffer through this to listen. I listened to the riff tracks alone and not watch the movie.
I'll tell you exactly who these movies are made for, and it's Call of Duty fans. They're totally fine with a reskin of a futuristic-ish city in turmoil with, cool abilities and shootouts, and the Transformers are just, extra tech at the end of the day, right? So that's who it's for. This movie, the whole back half of this movie looks like a Call of Duty game, and it acts like a Call of Duty game in that it just keeps repeating the mission until the mission's done.
Yeah, they just do the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah. God, this movie is like exhausting to sit through.
Yeah,
I was about to say I couldn't imagine sitting through this in a theater, but I did actually sit through the fourth one because I had to review the fourth one a long time ago. I sat through that one, which is 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's longer than this one. It feels like a fucking eternity.
There was literally so many times where I was like, oh, it can't be that much more. And I'd look at the time. I was like,
there's 40 minutes left.
I was like, it's only been 3 minutes since I checked. It's felt like an hour.
It's because the editing is so fast. The editing is so fast, therefore you think the pace of the film is really fast. But no, the pacing of the film itself is actually very, very slow. It's just that the cutting between shots is lightning quick.
Yeah.
I guess Michael Bay didn't take his ADD medicine, and so he's just like constantly like on a cocaine high the whole time.
Seriously, you have to post the screenshots of my face to the Patreon so that people can see my fucking face.
Just horribly confused.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah, like the pacing is awful in these movies. The editing is so quick. Also, this was the first one that was filmed in 3D, and apparently the 3D made people horribly sick.
Oh, I
because
believe
it's not filmed appropriately for 3D.
No,
they didn't shoot it properly for that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, wasn't the fourth one shot in IMAX and it pissed everybody off because they kept cutting between standard 35 and IMAX, and it just like every 2 seconds it would like jut in and out between IMAX and 35.
Oh yeah, Age of Extinction's a ugly looking movie all around.
Yeah, that movie's hideous. Let's get the Chinese market involved. Well, they got their giant robots. There you go.
We got our giant dinosaurs, so at least we can say that, right?
Oh yeah,
right.
So I thought I could squeeze some entertainment value out of this experience because overall, this one's not as terribly edited as 2. I don't know if that is just the help of having writers on staff to keep your movie.
I think it's just the edibles you took, Seth.
Yeah, it definitely could be. But here's what happened.
I feel like we need to Ludovico treatment you with this and just like have you just like slammed into a chair, strapped down, and just hold your eyelids open so you can try to watch this again, see if you can make it through without edibles.
How dare you bring in Clockwork Orange into this?
So anyways,
hey,
yeah,
if you're trying to torture somebody, this is a good way to do it.
I decided to get nice and baked and do a full watch through of an edit that Nick had sent me, and it was a shorter watch too, so I was very happy about
90 minutes long.
Yeah, that's
you lucky
That's all you
bastard.
need. That's all you need to
It's
finish
more
this
than you
movie
need.
out. Yeah, so I sat down and so I don't do edibles super often, and I have pretty high tolerance overall. So that's like going into this, know that I knew what I was getting into. This wasn't an extreme dose for me, but it was more than normal. And I've been working out a lot more often, so I've lost a lot of weight, which does affect your tolerance. And so I thought I could go in on 100 milligrams and be okay. My normal dose is like 80. I really should have taken like 60 is what the point here. And on top of that, I have and this will sound a little silly, but I have a mindset ritual when I'm going to take edibles, and part of that is to make sure it's a good experience, because it's a long experience regardless of how you're feeling. So it's like, get the fuck on board or don't. So I try to do something along those lines, but I was rushed for time to be able to watch the movie and get to an interview later. So I skipped it, and so I was not in the best mindset going into this experience. About 45 minutes in, the edible has kicked in, and and I'm doing okay, but then there comes the scene where Bumblebee transforms around Shia LaBeouf, and that affected my head a little wrongly, and I went down this mental rabbit hole, and anybody who's done a lot of edibles understands you get stuck in your head sometimes. I ran down this mental rabbit hole that I had died because Russia had launched the nukes, and that I was experiencing the end of life, like, when you see your life flash before my eyes. I was like, oh, this is me in my life flashing before my eyes. And it's watching fucking Transformers. I'm so mad.
Oh my gosh!
I was convinced that, like, if I went to bed, that was it. Like, that I was out for the rest of eternity. I was laying it down forever, and I was so pissed that I was ending it on Transformers. So I just rushed to get anything else on TV as if this is really it. And I landed on Chef, the Jon Favreau movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
I do too. I totally forgot that the way they do dialogue in that movie is everybody talks on top of each other. And I gave myself a panic attack. Regardless to say, I didn't have the best experience, even on edibles, even watching a 90-minute cut of this movie. I'm okay now, I promise. It was a long night. It was a long night, but I have seen the error of my ways, and honestly, just for the experience to go out on this last episode, I thought was fitting, because this has truly been a nightmare. Every 150 episodes of it.
One more thing I want to say about this that I don't know if it is interesting, but it is trivia, I guess.
Sure.
Is
Fair.
that, to my knowledge, as far as movies I've seen, this is the only movie I've seen, the only PG-13 movie I've seen that had 2 uncensored F-bombs in it.
Yeah, it's
They
I
blow
don't
by so fast. Is the way.
Yeah,
I think they just missed them, I think.
contextually they're not sexual too, so I think that has to do with it.
Like, the first one is when we see Sam getting his medal from Obama, and it's like, fuck yeah! And then it's like John Malkovich looks at Bumblebee, and it's like, fuck yeah.
I think it's because of the context as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Context, and also I think the MPAA has to watch all these movies and go through them with a fine-tooth comb.
Right,
I
right.
really think at a certain point they just kind of gave up. Because if I had to watch these movies as my job, I would be the person that walks into a production meeting with a loaded gun and puts it on the table. Sam Peckinpah style, which he actually did at one point. I think he was asked at one point to direct Return of the Jedi, and he walked into the production meeting and put a gun on the table, and Lucas was like, yeah, you're not the guy we're looking for. Then they went to David Lynch, and that interview is all over YouTube. Which is hilarious. I love that. So he told me about this thing called Wookiees, and I started to get this massive headache.
God.
You like concerts?
You like concerts?
Jabba's Palace. That's kind of a concert. Let's go with that.
Oh, God.
Dude, I would love for David Lynch to come in and do an episode of like The Mandalorian or something, though. That would be so much fun. Like a little.
Well, he's doing it. He's doing a new show for Netflix. It's on the way.
A little body horror never hurt anybody in Star Wars, right?
What show is he doing?
It's a new thing. I think I can't remember what it's called. It's Wind something, but it's not connected to Twin Peaks at all. Twin Peaks is done.
Interesting.
I mean, I'll take it. He's not doing
Yeah,
something anymore.
no, I mean, shit. I'm just curious. I didn't even hear that he was doing anything new, so.
Well, I think it's time to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to run through a pitch of how to fix this shit, and then I'll say my goodbyes, and that'll be it. How about that?
Oh, by the way, I just checked it. It's called Wisteria. No longer attached to Netflix.
Oh, Lynch is too good for Netflix, anyways.
What is the oh my God,
That sucks.
what's Mike Flanagan?
Oh, he's way too good for Netflix, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's just they keep giving him work, so we'll take it.
I would get the Mike Flanagan streaming service, and it would be God tier, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, I was about to say, because you totally just fucked with Mike Flanagan. Don't do that.
No, I mean, and Netflix is probably not good enough for most of the people that work with them, in my estimation.
Fair. No, fair.
I feel like they'll just take anything because they need to compete with Amazon and all that shit.
Sure, and hell, I'll sell to the highest bidder.
Yeah. So. They got Cobra Kai, even though Cobra Kai really should not be on Netflix, but whatever, we'll take it.
Hey, sometimes punching up is helpful. We will be back in just a minute with our fix for Transformers 3.
Hello, all you kings, queens, and those in between. Friend of the Film Rescue Show, Paresh Maharaj here. You've probably heard me on the Bohemian Rhapsody and Pacific Rim Uprising episodes. And hey, if you liked what you heard there, I have some good news. I have my own podcast. It's called Busted Limes, where me and my co-host Black Belt and the occasional guest discuss all things nerdy, be it superhero movies, kaiju, anime, video games, you name it. We're available on all major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. So, what are you waiting for? Come bust a lime with us.
Well, let's jump into this pitch and put this one to rest. Finally, Transformers 3. There's some fun stuff we can do in here with the plot, but Nick, I'm curious to see what you've got to break down for us.
Oh, okay. So, like I said, I'm a stupid person who cares about Transformers even when it's bad. I have
There needs to be somebody.
Yeah. But because of that, I have seen all of these movies because
Thank you for your
I
sacrifice.
hate myself.
Oh, you poor man. Even you saw the fifth one all the way through?
I saw everything.
Oh God, give this man some alcohol.
Yeah.
Give this man a medal.
So,
thank you for your service.
yeah.
Give him a medal of alcohol.
I was just curious. I just had to know how deep the rabbit hole went.
And it goes all the way down.
Did you like what you found?
The silence speaks volumes.
Silence!
The silence speaks volumes.
Well, this pitch is for Transformers 3, but it began life as a pitch for Transformers 6.
Okay.
Fuck. Okay.
Okay. So, first off, I'm just gonna say, like, there's gonna be more focus on the Transformers themselves. Gonna get new Transformers, and I am going to bring back one human character, but I swear it adds up, and they're also I'm gonna say the best human character in this movies. But basically, like, because it is a movie with so many moving parts and characters in it, I'm just going with the Roland Emmerich style, like, cast of thousands, but just put in good enough actors to fill in the cracks for it.
Okay.
Moonfall in theaters right now.
Don't go see it.
God. Don't go see it. No. Marvel movies are hurting the industry. No, I think your garbage is ruining the industry.
Right.
Okay, so spoilers for Transformers 5, but who cares?
Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah. So the big bomb from that movie is that, as it turns out, and this is from one of the cartoons, I want to say Transformers Prime, but it turns out the entire Earth is actually...
Unicron?
It's not... Yeah. It's Unicron.
Yeah, it's Unicron.
It's not flat, it's not hollow, it's Unicron.
Which makes no real sense when you break it down, but whatever.
What?
We have giant holes that have gone all the way down to, like, the mantle of the planet. So, you know what? I'm not even going to debate it. Whatever. Who gives a shit?
So basically, the punch of this pitch for this movie is that it's a disaster movie mixed in with some Cthulhu-esque horror in it.
You got my money.
Okay. Done.
So, like, it starts off with, like, narration, but it's not Optimus, it's Jeffrey Combs. He talks about the history of Unicron and basically how a group of Autobots and Decepticons, like, put it to sleep. 13, like, the leaders of the Transformers, 13 Primes, they were able to, like, they couldn't kill it, but they were able to seal it away, and then years and years later, like, life formed on it, and, like, a group of Transformers tried to, like, cultivate it to keep it, like, not to seal it away, keep it sealed away, but they decided that to abandon their efforts after they discovered, like, non-Transformer life was adapting on it, because now there's this, like, question of, should we keep, like, colonize... I guess it's technically not colonization because it's theirs, but this is new life different from them, so it's like it's a gray area. So
it's an
that's why,
ethical question you want them to be asking.
like, as a basically it's the backstory there. Like,
Okay.
Like long-time listeners will know I like to plot my pitches out down to the nearest plot point. I'm not really doing that for this.
Yeah.
I'm just giving a basic arch idea on what's going about.
Gotcha.
And I'm just going to focus on the characters later. So, like, I do have a barest bones of an idea. So, basically, in the present day, whether that's 2011, 2017, who cares? Like, Jeffrey Combs' character comes in with a crew of his own Transformers. He is a Transformer called... I realize I should be having screen share on for visual reference. Hang on. Oh, there we go. I still have screen share on. Alright, so Jeffrey Combs is voicing a character called G-Axis. Like,
That's a terrible name.
Yeah, well,
Just Axis.
Oh, God.
Okay, it's
Or Axle. It's a car thing. Axle.
Okay, see, that makes sense.
For the
I'm glad something makes sense.
for the listeners, he is a orange and yellow or orange and white or orange and gray themed big boy. He's pretty bulky looking.
Yeah, that's him as he appears in the comics, but I'm going with the one on the left, which is not Jaxus, but Ratchet from the Transformers Prime, but Jeffrey Combs. That's Jeffrey Combs' character in the cartoon, so it's the model I'm going with.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, so basically, as far as like backstory goes, he and Optimus go way back before the Cybertron War. I'm actually going to be expanding on the Cybertron War a little bit.
Ooh.
They were scholars and friends before the war broke out, but then Optimus, who original name Orion Pax, he decided, hey, I don't like that there's slavery going on and that we have slaves who fight in a gladiatorial pit. I'm gonna go free this guy Megatron, see if I can help uplift him.
You're giving some actual depth to the hero and villain of our story and not just having them show up to punch each other? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say,
okay with that.
Jesse should like this part because it's mostly just, CGI characters talking to each other about stuff they care about.
Yeah. The stuff that should go into, storytelling.
Perfect.
Doesn't matter what the hell the character is. Just make them seem like they have human emotions and motivations. That's all.
I am looking at these pictures that Nick has. The one of Optimus that I'm looking at, it's kind of like anime stylized. I wish
Yeah.
That's actually not Optimus, but I'll get to that later.
Okay. Whoever this ends
I
up
like
being.
the dude with the giant hammer. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I'll get to the guy with the giant hammer.
I guess I like their humanoid faces when they're in their humanoid form. The stylized thing in the Transformers movies gets a little odd looking to me. Like it feels like they're
nightmare
forced.
fuel. It is literally nightmare fuel for some of them.
All right, so real quick, I'm kind of handicapping myself making this Transformers 3, so it does continue from Transformers 2 where that left off, but in a what-if scenario, it's like, what if instead of peddling out the same crap, we tried?
Okay, gotcha.
And all the new Transformers are more streamlined, and I'm explaining the more overly designed versions like Optimus, Bumblebee, like Megatron. That's just a version of war scars. Basically, the war has taken a toll on their bodies, and that's why their bodies have to overcompensate and look ugly.
Interesting.
It's science. It's made up science, but all things are made up.
No,
words.
honestly, I love shit like that because it's like this is a part of their alien physiology that we don't know. Because otherwise, we don't know shit about their alien physiology except for assumably we can work on it because it's got mechanical parts. Yeah. So this kind of shit's cool.
Yeah, and it also explains why Prime is so bloodthirsty in these movies.
Oh yeah, he's been through the ringer.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, I've got nothing left. My home's gone. So yeah, basically, Orion.
Can I real quick? I have a question.
Yeah.
Do Transformers eat? They have mouths.
They consume energon, which fuels them, but I don't know if they drink that.
Or if it's like an IV spout or some shit. Yeah.
Is there energon on Earth?
They
in the form of
in this movie, they have energon towers which detect them when Decepticons are showing up. So maybe
I think remember. The sun projects certain nutrients into the minerals that replace, or I don't fucking know. It's so vague. I don't fucking know.
All right, so
anyways, back to what you were saying, dear.
Yes. So Orion Pax and Megatron. Orion works to help end slavery under Cybertron and help the Decepticons gain a leg up in society. But then, like I said, the Cybertrons cancel their plans to colonize other planets, and Orion likes this because, freedom is the right of all sentient beings. That's why he helped Megatron out.
Yeah.
But Megatron's like, what? We're not going to spread our greatness to the galaxy? I don't like that. And boom, that's how the war starts.
Okay.
Yeah, and so because Jaxus is not a soldier, he was able to rally some like-minded Cybertronians and left. But now years later, because the Transformers brought their war to Earth, Megatron not Megatron, Unicron is starting to wake up. So we cut to Sam Witwicky in an insane asylum because like he died and got brought back to life by the 13 gods of Transformers, basically. So that's gonna fuck with your head no matter how you slice it.
That was shit from the Indiana Jones set in Transformers 2, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. I didn't know they were
Yeah.
gods, though. Okay, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of wipe away at the end of the second movie. It's like, oh yeah, he had all this shit in his head. Well, did he ever get it out of his head?
Right.
Nope.
Doesn't
And he
matter.
It just kept getting worse, and so he's just writing
more
more
nonsense.
on his wall.
Love that.
So it's like that movie In the Mouth of Madness. The John
Yeah.
Carpenter film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
John
now-
Carpenter's Transformers, I'm here for it. That sounds fun.
All right. So
All
now,
in.
all right. So now, Michaela is our human character. Megan Fox is coming back because I always had a soft spot for her in these movies.
Okay.
And
She's not a terrible actress. She just got shoehorned into this crap.
No,
Yeah,
actually, some of her very obscure horror films, she does her best in horror. I will say.
Yeah.
Like Lindsay Ellis points out, she has more of a connection with the Transformers than Sam does because she's a mechanic.
yeah, she likes cars.
Which is what they did with Bumblebee. Like
Yeah.
they made her a mechanic. Like how about that? Like give the character some kind of connection to the Transformers, and it might actually mean something.
All right. Anyway, so like Michaela's checking in on Sam, but then G-Axis' ship shows up. Like he reads that, Unicron's starting to wake up. We got to call in the big guns, and then we get to a second new character, and I'm flip flopping between who I want because like one's the fanboy pick, but the other is my pick because I want more female Transformers in these movies that don't just get killed at the end of Transformers 2. So the second character with the big hammer is either going to be Ultra Magnus, played by Michael Ironside, or Pyra Magna, played by Charlize Theron.
Interesting.
Okay.
They were the big commander of the war. Like they were Optimus's superior, but eventually they realized this is just going to get worse, and then they left the fight, and that's how Optimus stopped being Orion Pax and became Optimus Prime. But now they're on Earth, and with their big hammer, they're gonna imagine like Unicron's influence is starting to erupt like a volcano. They're using the hammer to smash those volcanoes back into the earth, destroying many cities in the process. Because it's the only thing they can do. And they don't like it, but it's either that or extinction.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, so next character, we get more backstory on what it was like to help garden. Garden's not the right word. Cultivate. Starts cultivating.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Let's
Words
say
are-
Gart, we're not plants.
Words are hard.
It's confusing because the next character is called Botanica.
Oh, gotcha.
So you're thinking botanical?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they were the head person in charge of making sure life evolved properly on the terraformed Unicron and make sure it didn't wake up.
Are you sure you're not pulling ideas from Prometheus?
Is that
I've never seen Prometheus, so I hope not.
You kind of are.
the
the man
terraformed
speak,
Unicron
damn
is
it.
Earth, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure I'm tracking.
All right, so she's like horticulture, agriculture, but like I said, they stopped when they discovered human life was starting to evolve on Earth, but also there is extra transformer life evolving on Earth. Not quite machine, but organic, and she brings back 2 samples. One of those samples is Dinobot, who's a velociraptor that can transform is a velociraptor that can transform into a robot that can transform into a motorcycle.
Love it, love it, love it.
Okay.
Because Beast Wars is amazing. Go on.
Yep. Because Transformers can learn Earth's language through the World Wide Web or something. That's how he gets his Shakespeare in. But I'm just saying faithful. But basically he's like, I don't want Unicron to awaken, but I also remember being a dinosaur and having others. Like, there was one other dinosaur that they didn't take with us because it was too big. Dinosaur Transformer, I mean. And I want to help save your planet if I can. So he teams up with Bumblebee and Michaela, and because he's a motorcycle because I want the image of Megan Fox riding a Velociraptor-themed motorcycle in this movie, basically.
Of course. Because reasons.
Hmm?
And
Can we bring back Rat Trap too? I really like that guy.
maybe.
I actually really liked Shockwave. His design in this movie reminded me of like a Contra boss or something like that.
Oh yeah, he does.
All right, so
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, you were saying?
I was just going to say, for anyone who doesn't know, Contra is a very difficult Nintendo game, notorious for its one-eyed monsters and things like that. Anyway.
He does not mean giant penises.
No.
No.
All right, so that's one of the organic Transformers they brought back. The second one is called Arachnid. They're a helicopter that can transform into a spider.
That's cool.
It's like,
Helicopter.
yeah, she's kind of a
like
mad
my
scientist.
favorite. She is my goddamn favorite.
In design?
Yes, all the above.
Yeah, it's cool design. So basically, she's kind of a mad scientist, takes after Botanica, but in a more extreme way. She does not know personal space, and she does stuff that it amuses her, and that's kind of why she also helps out Michaela and Bumblebee, etc., etc. And then we get into the big three: Shockwave, Soundwave, and Starscream, who is not pictured because we know what he's like. Soundwave is the temporary leader of the Decepticons because Megatron is AWOL. We'll get to him later. Like, he's just trying to keep the fort down, but Starscream is... like, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but Soundwave is the ego of the group. Like, he's just the bridge between the two. Starscream is id. He just is in it for himself. And Shockwave is super ego. He's the big logical one, but that leads him to be withdrawn and overthinks his actions.
Yeah.
And he has to be coaxed out of it.
Mm.
Personality traits. I love them.
Yay, psychology.
So you have actual personalities for your characters?
Mhm. All right, I get to talk about Bumblebee. So basically, the way that G-Axis' crew knew to come back to Earth is because in the war, I guess near the end of the war, I guess we can also talk about this guy, Wreck-Gar. Like, he and Bumblebee were pals in the war, but when Bumblebee
damn near killed her.
but when
I'm just hitting home runs today, aren't I?
yeah, but when Bumblebee lost his voice, he was basically hanging on by a thread. So Wreck-Gar fixed him up, like saved his life, like put in implants to like help Bumblebee heal, however long that would take. But then they realized that G-Axis realized that, oh, we can use this to monitor Earth and monitor Unicron in case it wakes up. So Optimus thinks that Bumblebee's been intentionally a spy and just it's like we don't want you part of our group anymore, Bumblebee. So that's why Bumblebee is trying to work with Michaela, Dinobot, etc. and try and save the planet. Trying to work with a cast of like over 10 people.
Yeah.
So I have to be very basic. Grimlock. So Grimlock is kind of the midpoint of the movie where they're looking for Dinobot's friend from a million years ago, and he starts off as a mindless beast. But they think if we can just get a hold of the Matrix of Leadership, we can give him a baseline personality.
Okay.
And so they're able to take him down, but that draws the ire of the Decepticons, Shockwave, Soundwave, Starscream, and so there's a big fight, and then because Starscream is the worst, he decides to take all the glory, but then that attracts Megatron, who is unfortunately also enslaved by Unicron, so he's still not top dog, but I have a reason, and it's because these movies. It's because so I had to make up rules because there are none in these movies.
Oh yeah.
That like the way the Allspark worked in the first two movies is that it just brings any mechanical machine to life, and they don't seem to have any personality to them.
Yeah.
But
it's a husk. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a husk.
Yeah, they're just drones, basically.
Yeah. But because Megatron is brought back to life by an Allspark shard, like he's slowly becoming a husk, which means he's more susceptible. Like he becomes Unicron's herald, basically.
Okay. Oh, so he's like Silver Surfer to Galactus, kind of.
Yeah. Essentially.
Okay.
So
I'm cool with that.
all right. So past the midpoint, like because of Starscream's actions, Unicron does wake up, and all his lost moment is like, what are we gonna do? And then the Decepticons decide, oh, we are going to come together and try and do what we can, if that means evacuating or fighting Unicron off. And it eventually leads to fighting Unicron off, because if Unicron off, that's game over for the universe. And so now we come to Michaela, and like the thing with Sam is that, like I said, he was driven insane because like the stuff was still in his brain and just festered, and he couldn't read Cybertronian in the second movie, but because it stays in his mind longer, he's now making his own ciphers, his own language, and he can understand it from what barely translatable stuff that Michaela was able to get from his writings. And eventually they realize that getting dry mouth here.
How dare you, gosh.
The Transformers realize that as Unicron awakens, like it's like the end of Transformers 1 where random machinery comes to life, and it is going to affect them if they do not leave the planet.
Okay.
But because Sam was going to read it, Sam was able to eventually read the language and make his own language. Like they discover that because human life began on Unicron, that kind of messed with humanity's DNA. So there's kind of it's almost like a kind of offshoot of the Cybertron race.
Okay.
And that's why Sam was able to like be affected by the cube in Transformers 2, where it's etched in his brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
so human beings are Cylons? Okay.
yeah, basically.
That's the ending of Battlestar Galactica, is that they get to Earth and yeah, humans are actually half Cylon. That ending is terrible.
So then Michaela decides, like, the only way we're going to stop Unicron is if I finish what Sam started. So she willingly infects herself with the same potential madness from Prime's Matrix to finish the inscriptions.
Oh.
And they decide that Well, first she decides to infect herself, but then by finishing the inscriptions, that's how they learn humanity are Cylons. So that technically means Michaela can be transformed. See what I did there?
Yeah.
And so bringing from the Marvel comics, Michaela becomes a character called Circuit Breaker.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
There you go.
Fair.
Yeah,
fair.
and so she gets electricity powers, technopathy powers. She can fly, and that because there are 13 going up against Megatron and Unicron, they are able to fulfill the quote-unquote prophecy of the 13 primes and fully purge Earth of Unicron's consciousness.
Okay. So the lore gets to come full circle, and all right. Damn. It almost makes it seem like they did this shit on purpose.
Almost.
Almost.
It's amazing what happens when you actually have writers on your staff.
Right.
And also, Megatron, Bumblebee, and Optimus, basically, they all absorb the power of the Matrix. Like, you get the shot from the animated movie where either Optimus or Michaela holds the Matrix up high, and everyone gets, like, super modes because this is a movie to sell toys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The closest they get to that shit is his trailer at the beginning of the movie unfolding with his weapons, and I was like, that shit was awesome.
Yeah. So, and because of this, Megatron, Optimus, and Bumblebee, they are healed of their war scars and look more like their G1 counterparts and are more pleasant to look at.
Damn. Okay.
And like everybody gets more. Like basically, it's an excuse to sell toys. Like you get like Starscream's the gray Dorito in these movies, but he gets to look more like his G1 counterpart, and he gets his little crown from the movie.
Yeah.
And basically, it ends with the Transformers helping rebuild and helping humanity evolve. And because the war is over, Orion Pax, he's dropped the Prime moniker, and Megatron decide to restart their friendship from long ago and travel the stars with G-Axis' crew.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can explore future stories in like, video games or, other kinds, series spin-offs or whatever, but like that's a good ending to a good or to a trilogy. That's a good ending to a trilogy.
But what happens to Sam though? Does he just go
Who
insane?
cares?
He died.
Who cares?
Yeah, when Unicron first started waking up, Michaela's like, Sam, come with me, and he's like, no, I'm done, and he gets collapsed by the building.
Okay. I remember years ago I had an idea for how you could do something with Sam again. I had the idea of a mind transference. The idea is that Bumblebee has been killed and Sam is mortally wounded. So they say, well, we can transfer his consciousness over to a Transformer. So they put his mind into Bumblebee.
I was about to say, so it's like they combined the Allspark with his brain?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of the plot to the later Skyline movies, actually.
Yeah, that, or you could modify Sam's body to be a pretender Transformer, like that one girl from Transformers 2.
Oh yeah.
Do
you want to know how fucking stupid I am? I thought that she and the girl from this movie were the same blonde girl. Like, I was like, oh yeah, that character. I forgot that. I thought she was a Transformer. Okay, whatever. I didn't even question it. I truly did not even question it.
Am I forgetting anything? Oh yeah, Wreck-Gar, his main weapon is a chainsaw, and he's voiced by Weird Al.
Oh, hell
done.
yeah.
Fucking done.
Perfect.
Done. Fucking love it.
Home run.
Yeah.
No, I love this. I mean, it retroactively improves Transformers 2, which sounds impossible to me.
You've done the impossible, sir.
You don't know how happy I am that I'm fixing this for Transformers 3 and not last night, because there's a whole lot of crap I have to Like, again, this began life as a Transformers 6 pitch, so it's already built in there, but still.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
whatever works, man. Like, it works either way.
Yeah, I still have not watched last night. I refuse to give them any more.
All you need to know about last night is that Mark Wahlberg is declared a knight because he has the virtue of chastity, because he's so frustrated about not getting laid in forever, bro.
Are you?
But he's still been laid, though.
Yeah, he had a daughter, but that was years ago.
What's the time? What's the time limit on chastity?
He was raped. It didn't count.
Jesus Christ.
Ugh.
Okay, Marky Mark. Sure.
So Transformers were around during the age of King Arthur. Okay, even though it's a legend, but okay. So they were around in World War II. Okay. Didn't they come to Earth in like 2007 and crashed in like meteorites?
See,
like,
that's what I'm
They
saying.
were also
That's
there for the Beast Wars in prehistoric times because they became dinosaurs and they needed to see the dinosaurs.
See, that's what I'm saying about it makes more sense if they're just dumb colonizers, because then it makes sense why all this shit has been happening that they've been otherwise unaware of. Because
they've been here the whole time.
Yeah, it's like when we found out that the Vikings had been to North America long before Christopher Columbus ever got here.
Good
right?
on you, Leif Erikson.
It's kind of like that, where it's like, yeah, because they're colonizers, this makes sense because they're not exchanging information around with each other back on Cybertron.
I don't need to deal with the Cybertron bullshit. It's just also, by the way, Cybertron just like showing up in the atmosphere of planet Earth, that's instant extinction event.
Yeah,
that would destroy the planet.
The geological force behind the gravitational pull from that would have destroyed both planets. It would have destroyed both. There's no question about it.
Oh yeah, the moon would have been yanked out of orbit.
Oh, real quick. Can I also explain why the character is called G-Axis and not Axel or something more streamlined?
Sure,
please.
Sure.
All right, so he was created for the Generation 2 Marvel comics, but the Transformers comics were not doing so well because the show had been off the air for years, so they're probably going to get canceled. So the editors behind the comics were like, well, gee, they might as well Axis then, why don't they? It's like, wait a minute. G-Axis, I got it. There's the villain.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that hurts.
Oh,
that
fuck
hurts.
This.
I mean,
but yeah, there's the barest rough draft of my pitch.
It saves everything, dude. You've done the impossible.
Yeah, I like that the Transformers have character now, and I like that the plot is a good cap end to explain some stuff, and
there's backstory.
Yeah, exactly. And I
actual plot.
We pulled out the military disaster porn bullshit.
Right.
We pulled
No
all that
propaganda.
out. No propaganda.
I even like the Rian Johnson-esque switcheroo of having Michaela become the one of the 13 instead of Sam.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, like remember when they were doing the promos for Transformers 5 and there was that trailer where it was like talking about the 13-year-old girl who's supposed to be the main character of the story and she's only for like 20 minutes or some shit like that. Yeah, they really pushed it like, oh, it's about this little girl. No, she's not even a main character.
Yeah, like she's there because Michael Bay wanted imagery of the girl standing against the big bull.
Yeah. But then she's not in the back half of the movie.
It's literally glorified cannon fodder.
Yeah, that's all it is. I think that was when everybody finally realized that the grift is over.
Yeah, we need some content, some genuine content within our Transformers stuff. It can't just be random plot devices and MacGuffins to make things go. Well, I'm very pleased with this to the degree that you actually helped me remember things from Transformers 2 and then turn them into actual plot points. So you truly have done the impossible to my summation here.
You've done more than your fair share of work, sir. Bravo.
That's what pays for being a stupid person who cares about Transformers, even when it's bad.
For all the Transformers fans listening, I hope that was enough extras from the lore for you. I hope you feel satisfied with the fact that there's so much more lore here for you as well.
Did you like all the listeners who are Transformers fans? Do you like all the Beast Wars cuts? How do you feel about Pyra Magna being in the movie?
Beast Wars!
I love it. Well,
I'm a huge Beast Wars fan, so I'm always down for that shit.
What was the Rhino's name? Was it Rhinox?
Rhinox.
Yes.
That's right.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, also because Bumblebee doesn't get his... One last thing that I'm really proud of myself for coming up with. Because Bumblebee doesn't get his voice back when he becomes a Prime, when everyone is talking over him and placing blame on him, he plays I'm About to Break by Linkin Park and just shouts, "Shut up when I'm talking to you," to get their attention.
Nice.
Yes.
What? He gets his voice back at the end of the first movie. Why didn't they follow through with that?
Michael Bay!
I forget, if I'm being honest.
I guess they just threw it out.
Because Transformers 2 was made during a writer's strike.
Because Michael Bay and writer's strike.
I truly feel like an enfeebled old man sitting over here, just thinking back through the war crimes of watching those movies to remember anything to go along with this. And I don't even have like a good anecdote. I'm just like, is it over? Am I done with Transformers now?
I remember being in the theater for the fourth movie, and there was
Why?
some sequence for another show I was doing with Brandon, and it was a piece of shit movie, and he gave it a 3. The fucking asshole.
Oh, God.
I gave it a 1. It's
Oh,
like,
God.
but anyways, there was a sequence on a highway, and there's like a boat that gets flipped up on its end, and it gets thrown through the air, and I was just kind of like, I just zoned out. I was like. It was nothing but noise. That's all these movies feel like to me. It's just noise. Like, what does TV static look like in film form? That's what these feel like. They just feel like
I'd rather
TV
watch
static.
TV static.
Yeah, at least that you can fall asleep to.
I just remembered that Anthony Hopkins was in the 5th movie.
Oh, God.
No!
Oh,
No!
What's hilarious, though, is you could tell me that is the 7th movie, and I would still not know how to discount that. Like, I wouldn't know how to argue against it. I'd be like, yeah, I guess maybe it is. Are there only 6 of them at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There's still the Beast Wars one on the way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thankfully, I won't be around on this show to review that. You cocksuckers can take that one on your own.
Fuck you, Seth. Fuck you.
Don't bring me out of retirement for that one either. It's not worth it.
You're still coming back for some other episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm not gone forever.
You're just not full time. You can't take it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not gone forever, but I've done enough damage here that I'm excited to see what other people can do with the show.
Done enough damage.
Mostly internally afflicted. But yeah, I get to move into the sphere of making these movies now for people to complain about. So I'm excited to take that step and be on the receiving end now. I will understand if people if I've ill-favorably reviewed a movie that you love, I fully expect that to be lobbed against me in the Letterboxd review somewhere. I'm here for it.
I'm still mad about Van Helsing.
Add me on Letterboxd, Seth. I
Seriously?
added you.
Hey, that was Sarah's choice to do that. I was just kind of like, oh, fine, whatever, I don't care.
That's a campy one. I not one of my favorites for sure. And it's not even for not liking campy either. It's just not that kind of campy, I guess, is my issue.
It's an anomaly.
Truly.
Oh, come on. Dracula yells angrily about it has no heart and has no emotion. It's awesome.
Yeah. But I'll definitely be back. I have to finish out my obligated episodes, and Will has been very active in our Discord, getting his pitch together for Let There Be Carnage. So I've promised to be there for that one, and then Devin and I may go back and try to do an extra little one-off just for the Patreon. But that's only if we get the time to do it. So that'll come out as a lost episode in between seasons somewhere. But again, I'll be in and around as things pop up. Because again, I'm not going to stop going to theaters. There's going to be shit I'm going to want to fix in the future for sure.
Yeah. I guess that me and Hope are taking over full time
Yeah.
now, I guess. Thanks.
Yeah, it's Well,
You don't want to come back from Morbius and fix that?
again, and that's
I do have a fix for Morbius, and it's making
You haven't
Amazing
even seen
Spider-Man
it
3.
yet.
Before you've even seen the movie. Haven't even watched it. I can already fix it.
Yes.
Fuck it.
we know it's a train wreck. All right, it's fine.
We know it's a mess. It's been pushed back 4 times already. We know it's a train wreck.
This will be the month of nighttime creatures. We got Batman, we got Moon Knight, and we got Morbius.
Wow.
Oh my god, we do. Fuck.
I'm here for 2/3
I am
of that,
seeing
anyways.
Batman this week.
Yeah.
I am seeing Batman this weekend, so I can give y'all a good review.
I have to go to work this weekend on a documentary, so fuck all of you. I can't see it till next week. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see where this show goes with the community setup, and I'm excited to see what you guys pump out for your rescues. I think it's going to be a fun time. And then once my movie's done, maybe we'll come back and try to rescue my own movie. I'm doing that actively on the script at different times. I read through as if I didn't write it and try to pull it apart like it's on Film Rescue.
So when Kevin Smith did Red State, which I think is one of his best films, that's what he did whenever he got stopped. Whenever he actually said, whenever I felt like it was getting too predictable, I would cut myself off and go left field.
Yeah.
And that is why it's great, because every time he said, he was like, before I even put sentence pen to paper, I stopped, took a smoke break, get a little high, and then he'd come back and then he would go left field. Like, didn't matter if it made sense. He would go left field and edit from there, because if he knew where it was going, then he knew he failed, type of deal.
Yeah, it's
that's where I'll leave what you're doing.
Exactly. I think it's an important part of, especially if you're trying to say something with your movie, which I am. I think making sure that kind of thing is gone back over and can stand the test of time as best you can estimate it. I'm enjoying that process for sure, but I think it'd be fun to be able to bring back, something that very, very truly I wouldn't be making movies if it weren't for this podcast. So I'm excited to come back and go through the gauntlet on the other end of it and see how it feels. Maybe I'll just delete the whole show from the internet after that.
Seth, do I have a treat for you when I visit Maryland? I'm going to bring something special for you.
Oh, sweet. I'm excited.
So I have a question.
We have an answer.
Well, question for Seth. Of all the episodes we've done together, Seth, which one was probably the one that stands out the most? Is most fun?
The most fun? Oh man.
Because I know mine was most fun. I know mine.
I was about to say, I've only been in this past season, so mine's a bit more limited. I've listened to them, but I've been a bit more limited. But
Byron came on and did an AVP episode that the movie portion of it was fine, but the pitch portion, I remember having a ton of fun like pitching ideas in that section. I came into it thinking this movie's so boring that there's no way we're gonna have fun at the back half, and then it ended up being just really creatively a lot of fun. Man, yeah, that's a really good question. My old Indiana Jones episode where I pitched the Temple of the Blue Demon,
okay.
It wasn't the temple, it was the Cave of the Blue Demon or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very proud of that pitch. That is something I would genuinely consider turning into a screenplay if I ever got to play around in the Indiana Jones universe, or even just dabble in the adventure universe. You can just kind of rip off Indiana Jones wholesale at that point.
I mean, Indiana Jones 5 just wrapped
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Right.
What about you, Jesse? What were some fun ones that stand out to you?
Terminator Salvation was
Oh, yeah.
the origin of Jivanich Kinnington.
Oh, God, the amalgamation of torture.
Good old Graham got his
If
start
I ever get an opportunity to do any kind of body horror stuff in the future, I'm going to name the monster that on set.
Yes.
Whatever it ends up being in the movie, who knows? But on set, that's what we're going to call it.
Please, yes.
And then he'll be canon forever, and that'll be the most fun part, right?
That was fun. What else is another good one? The Rambo Last Blood one was fun. We just kind of took a giant shit on
Oh, yeah, and then the pitch was like it became even more topical every month after the passing of the episode.
Yeah, exactly. It became really important afterwards.
God damn. What about you, Nick? You've been on the show a bunch. When you think back, what are some of your favorite episodes that you've guested on or pitched on?
I'm still amazed you let me pitch fixes for the entire prequel trilogy. That's still awesome to me.
I was very invested in that idea too. Like I may go back and pitch my own prequels at some point as well. But there's even creators out there that I respect that have done their own just really excellent pitches. One guy, I can't remember his name.
Give me helm to that, Seth. God damn.
Yeah, there's one YouTuber I kept trying to get onto the show while I was here. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he did a full prequels like pitch where he actually had somebody sketch out like storyboards for his YouTube channel. Love his stuff. So yeah, I was invested in that.
Yeah. Whenever something like that came up, I deliberately avoided it so as not to let it infect me too much. I didn't want to take too much outside help.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as far like other pitches, I'm impressed. I'm impressed about the Ultron pitch by just a sudden shift of what if this movie had tighter continuity with the other Marvel films?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you even predicted something that they worked into the Hawkeye show in reincorporating his deafness into his character.
Predict it.
Yeah,
I would say predicted.
But that was great though.
But my favorite, I think, outside of those two, has to be Spider-Man 3 as just making that movie more cohesive and less, this is this character, independent of this character, independent of this character.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we have more threads going on.
I was just listening back to that one a couple months ago on my run, because and even now, I'm surprised how much I softened on that movie after watching it for the show. And that's kind of the power of the show too, is like sometimes I remember things very fondly and then we get into it and it's like, yeah, shit, that was not a good movie. And then other times it's you get in here and it's like something really held up there and was interesting to look at.
I did hear something recently where apparently for the new Spider-Man film that came out for No Way Home, for that film, Thomas Hayden Church was not ever on set.
Yeah.
Nope. Neither
that was recycled footage, and most of it was CGI because they just had his voice. They didn't actually have him on set at any point.
Neither he nor Rhys Ifans were actually on set. They just reused footage.
God, I couldn't even tell. Dude.
Yeah, because I know.
Damn.
One of them was actually a recycled shot from the first Amazing Spider-Man. They just changed the scene dressing around it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! Damn. I'm guessing it's the part where Rhys Ifans transforms back.
Yep.
Yep.
Not shocked. Because I was about to say, how'd they afford to get all these people in there? Oh, they did.
Right.
They didn't.
Well, they
just afforded to use footage.
I was about to say,
of
and Rhys Ifans was busy with like 3 other productions at the time too.
I've seen people saying that like Tobey Maguire got like $10 million, and I just don't think that that's accurate. There's just I can't see that being accurate, especially if they're in conversations to make more movies with him now. That would be crazy to me.
I don't think he would take that much. He loves he loves the craft too much, in my opinion. I don't think he'd feel comfortable.
I was just pitching the other day on Twitter what I think they should do if they have to make more movies, which like I'm of the opinion that they don't, but I get where they're at. If they have to make more movies, they need to Logan the fuck out of Tobey Maguire and push him into a side character and use that to launch Miles, because he can he's now seen Feast in Tom Holland's universe. He could start his own version that could be a tribute to Uncle Ben and Aunt May. And then that's how you bring Miles' character in, and they could just do street level stuff, like just similar to the games where you have a good Doc Ock in their universe now, that assumably Doc Ock would have gone back to.
Seth, Loki said that when you travel the multiverse, it branches off. So when you go back to your universe, it's actually an alternate universe and not your own.
Shut
Sure,
the hell up.
sure. That's, I mean, fucking fine and whatever. I'm saying what I need to have emotionally resonant stories with Spider-Man characters.
Let it go. It's his last episode. Fuck off.
Yeah, I would love to see something like that, and then they can. I said that they could actually reapproach the Clone Saga with the Amazing series because it's already tarnished. So it's like it's already tarnished, and if you're ever gonna fix anything, that's the place to like try out the ideas. Especially since Venom's the most likely to go to that universe, anyways. Just make that the '90s universe.
Like I said, I have a pitch for Amazing Spider-Man 3. So wait for Morbius to be on DVD.
Right.
We can
Yeah, I guess
talk
that
about
one-
Nick.
that one will
You
go
and
to
I will
streaming
have a
pretty quick.
discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Like the countless delays for Morbius is worth it because it's coming out on April 1st, and it couldn't be more
Oh
appropriate.
my gosh, I saw that and I was like, oh, that's the biggest joke on itself. Like,
we saw Bloodshot pretty close to April 1st.
The headlines write themselves.
True.
April Fools, Morbius is great. No, it's not. If that comes out and it's like amazing, I swear to God, I'll shit my
Yeah,
I
that's-
would be 1,000% down for Morbius if they just took from the Spider-Man cartoon and gave him the suckers on his hands and he's
Yes.
hungry for
Oh,
plasma.
yes.
Can't do blood in
I
a kid's
hunger
show.
for plasma. I sound like Tommy Wiseau 10 years before.
Oh,
I mean-
hi, doggy.
I would love to see Tommy Wiseau in the
I dug it.
MCU, if I'm being honest.
Oh my god.
Just
Tommy
as like a
Wiseau
bit
as
character, like a
Morbius.
doorman somewhere. Hello, Reed Richards. How are you doing today?
Oh, hi, Carson.
We don't do Stan Lee cameos anymore. Now it's all Tommy Wiseau.
No.
Damn. Sorry. Yeah, that's the last bad joke I'll tell in this show.
Oh God.
That's a joke.
Should we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think it's time. Thank you all so much for jumping in on this one. I know it's a tedious watch. Hopefully my anecdote about doing edibles to watch through was worth it for you.
And by the way, never watch this movie. Like seriously, just no.
Ignore it. Ignore me.
It's just another pile of trash from the Hollywood machine. Don't waste.
It's honestly sad that I can't recommend an Alan Tudyk vehicle. Like,
Oh, yeah, he was in this movie.
Oh my God, that's right. When he showed up, I was like, "Fuck you, dude! What are you doing?"
I'm wearing an Alan Tudyk shirt. I'm wearing an Alan Tudyk shirt as we speak right now. I love that man. And it
Same.
killed me.
He
Damn.
makes everything better. And honestly, I would have taken much more of his character in this movie. Oh well.
Whenever I think back on this movie, I think, where were the Transformers in that movie? Because I always think of just like crappy characters in rooms talking. I barely even think of the Transformers.
Yeah, just like people
Yeah.
being shitty to each other in general.
Yeah, it's just everyone's an asshole. Everyone has an ego. Everyone's a scumbag. You know, human people that are trying to side with Transformers and allow themselves to be slaves. Are you fucking stupid?
Do you know what's really missing?
What?
What's really missing from these movies is kids interacting with Transformers. Like,
Yes.
that's the relationship that would make me care about any of this shit. It's like,
Yeah, it's
like
called
the pure
Bumblebee.
Yeah,
innocence
exactly.
With
Oh,
It's called
we do.
Bumblebee.
But Seth, we do have a kid interacting with a Transformer, and it turns out to be Laserbeak and kills her entire family.
Oh my God, that's
I'm not
right.
gonna lie, that kind of horror shit does work for me in these movies.
Mm-hmm.
The, like,
Yeah.
and again, it goes back to that thing where I'm just worried about getting my hands torn off by them. It's part of whatever that primal fear is in me. Just
Was it called trypophobia or something?
No,
yeah, it's similar. It's
But-
definitely similar, but it's not exactly the same. I think it's just like I'm scared of my meat fingers interacting with blade people. Really, is what it comes down to.
don't watch Robo Geisha. Got it.
Yes, exactly. Oh man, what was I watching recently? Righteous Gemstones has had this repetitive thing where
I love Righteous Gemstones.
they've had this ongoing joke where John Goodman breaks people's thumbs,
Yes!
and they show it graphically, and it gets me every time. I'm like, oh God, stop!
They do it several times, and every time it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
I still need to watch.
Please watch it.
Season 2 is like infinitely better than season 1, and I loved season 1.
I was gonna say, season 2 is wrapping up this Tuesday. Will be the finale of season 2, and they've been signed on for like 2 more seasons at minimum. So
good.
God damn.
Good. Jody Hill. Actually, he directed one of the episodes of Peacemaker that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's one of the writer-directors on Righteous Gemstones, and I just
beautiful.
love what he's been doing lately. He's just killing it on making like action TV. It's so good.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I recently started watching Euphoria, and I really need to offset the
yes.
depression of that show.
Watch Righteous Gemstones opposite of Euphoria.
That's a good chaser.
Yeah, Euphoria is tough. When the second episode where the jock kid finds his dad's child porn stash, I was like, you know what? I don't want to watch this. And then finally, it's only just one scene. I'm like, thank God, there's just one scene.
Seriously, just Righteous Gemstones right after.
Yeah, wash the gullet down. I think that's going to do it for this one. Nick, would you like to let anybody know where they can check you out online?
You can find me at Discord at I want to say pound.
You don't even know your own Discord name?
Yeah.
I don't know
You're in Discord, you idiots!
I keep getting tripped between want to say hashtag and pound.
Yeah, that's just millennial things.
Oh, gosh.
So it's capital NIC space capital WOOLFE. Is that hashtag 0760 if you want to hit me up on Discord. And
that reminds me, the best joke in Peacemaker Season 1, where Vigilante goes, hashtag me too.
Jesus
Christ.
I get it.
Anyways, continue, Nick.
I'm also on Reddit at MYCKOUNT, where not been there for a bit, but you can see some like other fixes that I've made if you lurk my posts around, and theories about maybe Tom Holland Peter Parker was born around 9/11. Who knows? He's the right age for it.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I'll be back for more Film Rescue in the future. Like I said, I have an amazing Spider-Man 3 pitch, and I also have a pitch for a second Sam Raimi trilogy.
Oh, very, very nice. Like I said before, Nick, you and I will be in discussions about many things.
Excellent.
Hey, we might get another Sam Raimi trilogy if they, really like this new Doctor Strange.
Yes.
I can't see it not being a swing and a hit.
Put Wesley Snipes on the Illuminati.
Please, yes, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Make
Wesley
him
Snipes.
the first MCU movie. Put Wesley Snipes in there. Put Deadpool in there. Put J.D. Salinger's son, who played Captain America in the 90s, in there.
Jesus.
Go for broke.
Wesley Snipes was in the Council of Vampiric People in What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows.
So why not the Illuminati?
Put Machete in there, honestly.
Yes!
Fuck it, why not? Fuck it.
I love it.
Make Machete and Spy Kids canon.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Jesse, where can people check you out online?
You can find me at Twitter at Hardcore B-Shot. We also have Split the Difference, comparing originals and remakes. We're going to be doing the last episode for the season pretty soon, The Thing. And I believe that's it.
Is that comparing the John Carpenter to the 50s version?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay.
We're probably going to touch on the prequel at some point because
we're definitely going to touch on the prequel.
Despise that piece of shit.
I was about to say, just
listen,
leave me out of the loop. Fuck you.
Listen, The Thing is faster and stupid in that movie because it doesn't have enough brain matter in it.
Sure. That's what they fucked up in that movie and nothing else.
Yeah, that's what they fucked up. Not the digitally erasing all the actual practical effects that so many people put so much time and effort into.
Save it for the content,
Fuck
guys.
you,
Save
Universal.
it for the content later on.
Yeah. Continuing.
Hope, where can people check you out online?
You can find me at most social media websites or anything else like that as biohazard_Leia. You can also find me on Split the Difference with Jesse and Seth, where we do discuss these things. I'm also personally starting a new podcast project soon, so please be on the lookout for those updates. It's going to be based around film and mental health, so I'm very excited. And yeah, it's been such an honor doing this show with you, Seth. Like, it's been such a blast.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we got at least a season's worth of overlap together.
Yes.
And also that this was the first season that I attempted to have at least a couple quality movies. So you made out the best of all of us so far. So, good for you.
It's my perfect timing.
Was season 5 the one where we just had like train wreck after train wreck after train
season
wreck?
5 was just it was the final circle of hell punishment. That was season 5.
Yeah, I can understand why you want to leave.
It was time.
I get
It was time.
I get it.
I've put enough of my mark on the internet that now when I get to travel into the movie circles, I can have a lot of enemies for people who listen back over to the show and be like, I worked on that movie, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm here for it, guys. Like, listen, I'm ready to eat all the shit. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
if anyone attacks you, I'll bring the rags out. I got you.
Yeah. If they don't notice, if they don't recognize you from bashing on movies, they'll recognize you as trying to turn off a TikTok video with your mind.
Yeah, very true.
Oh my god, that will never get
That
old.
did give us a
Never.
bump in podcast downloads, by the way. So you guys are welcome.
Oh,
You're
yes.
so welcome.
Yes.
I guess people just got curious enough. They're like, what does this guy do with his life?
Apparently,
This is what-
he gets high enough to watch Transformers on edible.
If this kid is still alive and making it with that brain, I got to see what else he's accomplished so far.
Right? Shit.
Wow, he makes his own podcast. Good for you, buddy.
Pat on the head.
Oh man, I am a tragic character on this show. But yeah, it has likewise been an honor. All three of you, we've had a ton of laughs and gags on the show together. So I'm glad I got to go down on the ship with the homies on this last episode. As I also promised to be back later. I will. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
We got to bring it back for Dark Knight Rises whenever the hell.
Yes,
I was
absolutely.
gonna say, well, maybe not this show, but through our whole get up, I will be visiting Maryland soon and being with these guys. So there might be some extra special content of something with Jesse and Seth with me. We're all together, so I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, and you can check that out on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/MontresterMedia. And you can now go donate since I'm leaving the show. If I was the thing holding you back, I'm gone now, so now you have to go donate. That's how it works.
Please give us your money. We need it. We got to make movies now.
I need to pay for therapy after Transformers.
If you have been personally victimized by the Film Rescue Show, there is no helpline, unfortunately.
The Transformers helpline.
I think that's a good ending place for this episode. It has been an honor. I've enjoyed every minute of being on this show, even the torturous ones. And thank you all for listening to me for so long. And good night.
We love you, babe.
Bye-bye.
Bye, and fuck Michael Bay.
Yes.
Do you watch Final Space?
Final Space?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
What is
TBS show that
that?
got canceled.
It's Olin Rogers, an old YouTuber. You the way you like inflect that like plan. It's exactly the way that he does it when he does evil characters on Final Space.
Oh, well, shit. I don't know.
I love Final Space. Like it's kind of like the antidote to Rick and Morty. It's sci-fi premises, but in a serialized like overarching story instead of a week to week thing.
Fair enough. I'll have to check it out.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I'm just looking up stuff on the shit that's happening in the Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
Dude, Ghost of Kiev is the most awesome thing I think I've seen all fucking month. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Just this fucking fighter plane just shows up out of fucking nowhere and just takes down like 6 Russian ships, Russian planes. I'm like, dude, that is badass.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's just they don't know who it is. It's like the fucking Red Baron of the modern era. No one knows who the fuck it is.
That's awesome.
I'll fucking take it, man.
We're watching an action movie play out in real time. Like the Ukrainians have had the shit beaten out of them for the last like 80 years. They're finally fed up with it.
Yeah.
They're finally like, and also, by the way, it's a shit show for the Russians because they only took 4 days worth of supplies. They're out of food. Also, they forgot it's mud season, so they can't move their fucking tanks.
Yeah, they would just sing.
And also, they forgot about the fact that the Ukrainians have a giant stockpile of weapons.
Yeah.
So they also, most of the Russian soldiers don't want to be there.
Nope.
This is all Putin's bullshit. Not only, what's the other thing? There was something else that was happening. They're out of food.
I love that we're in an era where like soldiers can be not patriotic to the wars of their superiors. Like that is so different than any other time in history.
Oh no, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, they have no reinforcements either.
Fucking.
So anybody that gets killed or injured, that's it. They're out. So the Russian military is just slowly getting dwindled down.
That's what I'm saying, because Russia's fucked themselves, because literally everyone else in the world, except maybe North Korea, and they're not stepping their toes in the water, is against them. Yeah. So
Putin's like, I'll use nuclear warheads. No, you fucking won't.
No,
dude, if you use nuclear warheads, we will nuke Moscow. Like, you will not do that.
He uses one, and yes, it would be a tragic
The entire
loss.
world will attack Russia. The whole planet will attack Russia. He's not even that stupid. He won't do it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There would be one massive loss elsewhere in the world, and then all of Russia would be gone. Like, there's no other way.
That would just be a crater on the planet. The only thing that is a problem, though, is if one missile hits that Chernobyl containment facility, that's it. Europe's done.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one thing they need to be wary of. Don't shoot at the fucking exposed reactor. Don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But, hey. But yeah, do you see those photos of the vice president's wife and a bunch of women getting a bunch of guns and going out and killing Russian soldiers?
Yeah, dude,
that is awesome.
Did you see that one? That one Nat Geo
goals.
That Nat Geo picture going around. This lady's walking up to Russian soldiers and giving them sunflowers to put in their pockets so that the seeds will grow in their blood. Dude, how stone cold is that?
That's fucking amazing.
She's like, here, take these sunflowers, put them in your pocket. I want them to grow where your body falls. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And they can't do anything to the civilians, or it's like immediately they get Geneva Conventioned back to the 1950s.
God. And Biden's like, we'll put sanctions on them. Yes, like that's actually going to do anything against the Russians. Like that affects the working class. Dysart was tweeting about this recently. That affects working class people. Putin's rich.
Right, exactly.
I was about to say, like, there needs to be more drastic measures than that. Like, that's all that's saying is we're against the effort and we're putting minimal effort in. I sent Jesse a meme about it where it was like, the whole Fellowship of the Ring, where it's like, you have my axe, you have my sword.
Oh, yeah.
But it's all the countries just giving the weapons and watching Ukraine go, and they're just sitting back.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like Ukraine has been, like, had the shit beaten out of them so often at this point. They're just like, yeah, we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
You can just step the fuck down. We got it.
Yeah,
they're so stone-hearted at this point. They just don't give a shit anymore. They're just like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll fight them. We don't care.
It's literally like Bruce Banner in the first Avengers movie. He's like, "That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry," and they're just unleashing their Hulk right now.
I hope when they finally reveal who the Ghost of Kiev is, because they have to. No one just owns a fighter jet.
Yeah.
No, nobody just owns a plane. Like, you have to register with serial numbers, air traffic control towers. You have to buy fuel and weapons. Somebody's going to reveal who this is. I hope that when they finally do, it's a woman. They step out of their cockpit, take off the helmet. Oh, it's a woman with long hair. Samus around that shit. That would be awesome.
Or
Putin got his ass kicked by a
even
woman.
better if it was like a teenager, or if it was like a teenage woman, too, like 18-year-old or some shit.
Yeah. Have you guys read into the history of Soviet sniper battalions of World War II?
Yeah.
Oh, that is fucking awesome, dude.
Beautiful.
Dude, that is so cool.
The Night Witches, if I ever get a chance to do like a historical film, the Night Witches, immediately going straight for the Night Witches. Like,
Please,
I can't believe we don't have a movie about
shit.
them yet.
Please.
How do we not have a movie about that? That is so cinematic.
Because no one wants to touch that masterpiece of a subject without having all things covered. And not too many film production companies or anything have everything covered. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, also you're talking about doing a story about Russia, and that's really touchy, especially now.
I can see the trailer. It's one of those like long cut trailers where it's them like at cruising altitude, cutting their engines and dropping into their dive, and then it cuts into the trailer proper. I could see it already.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Seth, let me just say, I have pilot experience. Let me just say.
Okay.
I literally should have already had my pilot's license. I just didn't do the classwork, but I have all my hours.
Interesting. Good to know.
Yep. I'd still love to see one about the sniper battalions. There's a book called Avenging Angels, which is about the sniper battalions, and there's a photo on the front, and it's this woman with a rifle, and she's smiling like she's gotten a taste for blood. It's this great photo. What's the name of the most prolific woman sniper? Was it Ludmila Poroshenko, I think was her name? She had like a 309 kills or something like that against the Nazis.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Love that.
Technically she had 311, but she said the first two were quote unquote test shots. How shitty is your life that you're somebody's test shots? Like, the Lord really had it in for those two fucking guys.
Right.
Yeah. The Nazis were like terrified of her. They were on loudspeakers within towns where they knew she was hiding and waiting for Nazi officers to show up. They were like, "Please come over to our side. Ludmilla will give you chocolate and beer and wine." And they're just like terrified to step outside. They knew that she was waiting. Like, the fact that they were so terrified of her is great. And then when the war ended, they were like, "Yeah, you can't talk about this."
Yeah.
Because they were like, "Yeah, we know there were women fighting, but we're not going to acknowledge it." Just that patriarchy just came right back in as soon as the war ended. Thank you for your service. Now fuck off.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Like, that'd be a great part of the story for Night Witches. Like, yes, thank you for your service. Now fuck off.
Yep.
Yeah. You're stuck between communism and fascism. Both are terrible options.
And then what you should do is like a 60, 70, 80 years later thing where like the children of said people like still remember to the day, and they like plot their shit as revenge for being fucked over.
Right.
Oh no, I got it. You show the story of the sniper battalions and how they fought against this patriarchy and against communism and fascism. Hard cut to current day footage, like in Black Klansman, showing all the women getting together with all their rifles in Ukraine, going out to kill Russian soldiers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Basically what I just said. Yeah.
Why does every woman in Ukraine look like a fucking model? Holy shit, dude. What are they putting in the water over there? Dude, like...
It's the same thing
God
with
damn.
Norway. Why do you think I haven't been to Norway? Even though I'm like 50% Norwegian, I feel like I'd be a troll when I go over there. I'm like, God damn, I'm part of your people, but fuck, I'm a insect compared to you goddesses. Fuck. No wonder the Vikings fucked you hard.
It's crazy what happens when you don't have to fear you're going to go into debt when you break a bone.
Right. Oh, God. I just dropped $800 this past week. No joke. On medical shit. And that's after the insurance, too.
Love that for us. Yeah, that's definitely not killing us at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, well, I can pay rent. Not rent, but I can pay my mortgage, or I can pay my medical bills. Fuck me.
God damn.
God.
All right, you guys ready to jump back
GOP
in?
I did see one thing. I watched a TikTok and somebody said, if you had to choose between voting for Putin or Biden next year, who would you vote for? And the person that they were talking to was obviously a Trump supporter, said, I'd vote for Putin.
Jesus Christ.
God,
Fuck
Jesus.
all of you.
Fucking
Like,
Christ.
did you see that tweet from Dysart about if Red Dawn was remade today, the GOP would immediately back the Russians as they invade? And I just said, yeah, we did that. We did Red Dawn on Film Rescue, and we talked about that. And he was like, oh, yeah, nice. And I said, you want to know why Film Rescue exists?
Yep.
There it is.
Yep.
That's why it exists, Josh. That's why. We talk about the hypothetical best version for the modern era.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's jump back into it. You guys ready?
Yep.
Hold on, let me
close
crack
this
open
out.
Let's go.
Crack open my new beer.
Let me crack my knuckles, crack my back. Oh, and then I want to crack Michael Bay in half.
I got the rags.
Here we go.
Bury the body 8 feet down, and then bury it up to 6 feet, and then you put a dead animal on top. That way, when the cops come by with the dogs, they find the dead animal, not the body.
And then you plant an endangered species of plant on top of it because reasons.
Yes.
Either
We
way,
thought
they
about
wouldn't
this way
be.
too much.
They wouldn't think about it because I'm really, really fucking good at my job, guys. Come on.
So here's the thing: just be wary of people that are good at gardening. That's you don't want to fuck with them.
I am really good at my job.
And that's your life advice today for how you get rid of a body.
Well,
Just call me. I am the new age 2020 version of the wolf from Pulp Fiction.
I'm pretty pleased with sugar on top. Clean the fucking car.